Hello and welcome back to the Great Football Chat. And today I just wanted to speak about Liverpool winning the Premier League. And there are a lot of discussion going on about this season. Has it been a good season? Has it been a bad season? In terms of quality, some people saying the league's fallen off, that everybody had an off season and Liverpool were lucky, and so on and so forth. I just want to speak briefly about that. First of all, congratulations to Liverpool. I don't think we could take anything away from them specifically because they played really well this season. They have only failed to score in one game all season. That was against Nottingham Forest when they lost at home 1-0. That was the only game they failed to score in. They've only lost 2 games so far. There's still 4 remaining. So that could change. That all could change. But up to the point where they have officially won their title, they've been extremely solid. They've been solid. There's no two ways about that. So I just want to talk about the rest of the league and how this 20th title for Liverpool will be perceived in the future. First of all, is it a vintage season? No, I don't think so. I don't think it has been the season that will be remembered particularly. Maybe for Liverpool fans, because this was the season they got back and basically equaled Manchester United's tally for the English League Division titles, top League Division titles, making it 2020 again. So maybe they will remember fondly for this, and because some other reasons, when there was COVID they couldn't celebrate it as well, and now they can celebrate it how they're supposed to celebrate it, and so on. For Liverpool fans, I think this will be a bit memorable, but for the rest of the league and the rest of the football community in general, I don't think it's that much of a memorable season, to be honest. Maybe there have been others that were less memorable, but this is not one of those that's up there. I don't know, something that has been some of the titles that Manchester United have won over the years, I think, are less memorable. Particularly ones in the 90s, the first 3 maybe something like 06, 07, not that memorable. And I don't know, some of those for me are less memorable. In terms of quality of the rest of the league, we should definitely say that Manchester City has fallen off dramatically. There is no two ways about that, for sure. They have not been themselves this year, to put it mildly, not been themselves at all. And that is the reason why they couldn't just put up a title challenge, and they are still in danger of actually falling out of the Champions League spots, because there are a lot of teams fighting for the final 3 spots that are available. So I don't know. This can be really a season to forget for Manchester City, because they can't even get Champions League football. I don't think that's gonna happen necessarily, but it's still a possibility. So they have definitely fallen off. There was the injury to Rodri. I don't know, man. If Rodri was this important to such a good team, he should have won 3 Ballon d'Ors by now. Because just the injury to Rodri causing all this collapse, I don't think that's it. Certainly he was important, and certainly without him they would have fallen off, but the fall off has been too steep. And it's not just down to Rodri. He's an excellent player. But as I've said in the previous video, at the time, they were struggling a bit when Rodri's injury hit. They were struggling a bit at that point as well. So that's not just that. It was it's kind of a generational change in Manchester City. These experienced players aren't really doing as good as they were previously. The only player who has been performing basically to his best is Holland. Others and Ederson. Others all have fallen off. De Bruyne is leaving in the summer. They have to go and do a big rebuild. So, yes, City definitely did fall off. Arsenal. Well, what can you say about Arsenal? The main title challengers to Liverpool this season, if you could call it that, they were not that close at any moment. I don't think there was a moment where Arsenal were just one result away from being top. At least not this year. Certainly not this year. There was never a situation where one bad result for Liverpool and a good result for Arsenal would see them swap places at the top. But I don't know. Maybe they put all their baskets in the Champions League. So all their eggs in the Champions League basket, from the start. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know. I'm not sure. They are in the semi-final. I don't know. When's the last time? I think the last time they were in the semi-final was like 2008. So, good for them. Actually, I do hope Arsenal win it. Because I think that they're a team that at this point deserves to have at least one Champions League in their catalog. So yeah. So Arsenal, kind of every time Liverpool dropped points, Arsenal just weren't there to respond and capitalize on that, and that's their main failing. Have they fallen off? They've had injuries. Of course, Saka was out. They spent a significant length of the season basically without a striker. But in those same situation, in that same situation, they beat Real Madrid 3-0. So, I don't know. Still, there's still a force to be reckoned with Arsenal. But for some reason, just I don't know, that's some kind of a mental block or what was going on with them when they just couldn't close the gap with Liverpool. And I think that's a factor that makes this season less memorable because there was not much of a title race at all. Liverpool were most of the time 2-3 results away from Arsenal, right? So, yeah, pretty much. It kind of settled like this. A kind of a gap opened up between the first two places, but from first to 7th, there isn't that much of a gap. All of these teams that are concentrated, like Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, and Newcastle, from 2nd to 7th, these are all quality teams, and they've except Man City have fallen off, but all the rest have had upturns, right? Newcastle are playing really well. They've won the trophy in fucking 80 years. Nottingham Forest, very unexpected, but they're doing really well. And Aston Villa also putting up a fight, going toe to toe with PSG in the Champions League. So. Again, these teams are having a great season, all of them. And all of them are strong. Aston Villa almost threw PSG out of the Champions League. If Donnarumma didn't pull off an amazing save against Tielemans, God knows what could have happened in that fixture. So, they're great teams. All of them are great teams. Newcastle beat Liverpool in the final. They didn't even give him a chance. One of the few times this season Liverpool have just failed to score. I think they failed to score 4 times all season in all competitions, and that was one of them. And these are all good teams, and kind of I don't know, rise of the middle class in the Premier League. I guess I could word it like that. You got Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final as well. So these teams like in the middle have gained much more points than they usually would have. That's the thing. And they have put up much better competition than they did. Even Bournemouth, they were in like top 4 at some point. Bournemouth. They have fallen off recently, but Bournemouth, by Bournemouth standards, have had an amazing season. And they have put up a great competition against everyone. Yeah, so you know what happened? I think the average level of the league has risen and how tough it is to beat an average team has risen, but Liverpool have risen above it. Liverpool have had the easiest time of beating those average teams than the rest of the league. Just that little gap between the first and the second provided Liverpool with that bit more quality that it takes to actually turn draws into wins and losses into draws. So yeah, I think the overall like middle class standard of the league has risen, and that's why that's why it seems that it has fallen off. It has kind of like leveled out. Some 3 teams have had a massive fall off. United, Tottenham, and Man City. Those have had a massive fall off. Well, United and Tottenham, god damn it, they are, I don't know, man. They have just given up in the Premier League. They both trying to go for the same trophy, and clearly one of them is going to be left with fucking nothing. And what are they gonna do? What one of the teams is, I don't know what's in their future. Whoever, even if they both get to the final, even if they both compete for that same trophy in the final, only one of them is gonna win it. What are they gonna do? What the other is gonna do? That's what I'm asking, right? You've left with fucking nothing, and you finished 17th, and you're supposed to be the top 16. Fucking embarrassing, man. They have, these 2 teams deserve videos of their own, but this rise in like the middling standard also contributed to teams like United and Tottenham getting so few points. They don't have 40 points yet. If the relegated teams were any good, these 2 motherfuckers would be in the relegation battle now. That's how bad they have been. But it kind of this has happened at the expense of the bottom 3, mostly because they have been dreadful this year. And I will do a separate video on the bottom 3 because it's the second time in a row that 3 teams that were promoted were relegated back down, and I have seen many similarities between them, and I want to talk about them. So I just wanted to wrap this up with saying how Liverpool have done this season. I think that they have done well. They have not let their standards drop at all. Arsenal dropped off slightly from last season. City dropped off a lot. United and Tottenham have dropped off a lot. But a lot of the other teams have risen a lot as well. Chelsea, for example, had a dreadful season last season, but now they're doing really good, and they're probably going to go and win the Conference League as well. So another bonus for them. So yeah, these are kind of like the middling standard of the league has risen overall, I think. And I don't think that detracts from Liverpool's season. Well, I also want to talk about 2 more things. The as they call it on football Twitter, the PGMOL title. I don't know. I really disagree with that, to be honest, with the PGMOL title and the referees health. Nah, it's just not true. They have had too many decisions this year to go against them rather than things that went for them, I think. they have again. There were multiple apologies issued to Liverpool this season for incorrect calls. One of them was recently Tarkovsky wasn't sent off for his challenge against McAllister, for example, right? I don't. And people are saying since this video about David Cook came out and he was hating on Liverpool, then they wanted to make it up for Liverpool and give them some. It's just such fucking bullshit. That is just such fucking bullshit. I don't buy it at all. Yes, other teams have had some decisions go against them. Mainly Arsenal, maybe, but it's not. I don't think that would have actually swayed if you had every single decision that has ever been made in this season in the Premier League go 100% right. I think it still wouldn't have swayed that much of a difference between the two teams. But now maybe Liverpool would be winning the league 2 games before the end, rather than 4 games before the end. So, I don't know, maybe. I don't even remember every decision that went against or for a certain club. Season's been long, man. I watched a lot of games, so I don't really remember every decision in every game. So to speak about this now, but I genuinely don't get the feeling that this is somehow aided by the referees. I don't get that feeling. And one thing that Liverpool did get, I guess you could say lucky in, is injuries, because they haven't had injuries to very long-term injuries to any of the key players. They did lose Gomez, but they lose Gomez every season. Alisson as well, but again, Alisson sits out in a few games, not a couple, but a few games every season. And they've got a great backup in Callagher. He only made one mistake. He only made one single mistake, and it was in this very last game that he played. When he didn't catch the cross and allowed Fabian Schär to equalize in the last minute when Liverpool and Newcastle played 3-3 in that game. That was the only mistake he made. Otherwise, he was perfect. Otherwise, there was no complaints about Kelleher. And what? Can you blame Liverpool for having a great backup for their great goalkeeper? I don't think so. And yeah, Konate was also injured for like a month. And he rushed his comeback as well. But props for Konate. Konate, again, Konate is somebody who you would expect to get injured at some point in the season, because up until this season, he did always get injured at some point. And I think now he's on his longest run of consecutive games for Liverpool. I think that's how it is now. So yeah, he has kept his health well. So, and the others as well. Of course, they didn't lose Salah, they didn't lose Van Dijk, they didn't lose Gravenberch. Gravenberch looked tired at times, but in the last game against Spurs, he looked better. And yeah, that was basically kind of an advantage for Liverpool that they didn't get in as many injuries. And you would expect it to be so, because I don't know, Van Dijk, unless he suffers like a horrific injury, he doesn't really get injured that much. It was the only time he suffered the big injury was that one against Everton when Pickford broke off his leg. And Salah as well. Salah has been very consistent. I don't think he's ever been injured for a long time. Yeah. So you would expect it to be the way it was. And Salah, by the way, what a fantastic season he's having. And does he deserve the Ballon d'Or? It's a good question. Individually, I think I would give him the Ballon d'Or. His performances have not been as impressive in the Champions League, maybe, as in the Premier League, but he's still been so good. 46 goal contributions already in the Premier League. That is, that's just unreal. And he has one goal contribution away from the Premier League record. And that record was set jointly by Alan Shearer and Andy Cole back when there was 22 teams in the league. So yeah, kind of an advantage. He has 4 games left to get one more goal contribution to equal that and 2 more to surpass that. Yeah, I would like Salah to win the Ballon d'Or. I think a player of his quality deserves to have one. It will be good for football if he won the Ballon d'Or, and it would not be kind of a regret that in, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years time, people will not look back and say like, how the fuck did he win the Ballon d'Or? Right? It wouldn't be like that. It will be like, oh yeah, Salah won that one Ballon d'Or. He deserved it. And I think that will be well deserved, and that is partially why I'm rooting for Arsenal to win the Champions League, because Arsenal don't really have a standout candidate for Ballon d'Or. Maybe Rice, but I don't think Rice will get enough votes. So yeah, and if either PSG or Barcelona win it, then you got Dembele from PSG, who's having an outstanding season. But if he doesn't win the Champions League, I don't think he will be given the Ballon d'Or. And Barcelona have a few candidates, but mainly Yamal and Rafinha. And if Barcelona win it, they have already won the Copa del Rey. And if they win a treble, definitely one of their players is winning the Ballon d'Or. Definitely. So I want somebody to stop Barcelona from winning the Champions League. If Inter can knock them out in the semi-final, I would be the happiest, because that means Salah will win one. Because I think if Yamal doesn't win it, if for example, let's say Barcelona win the treble, if they don't give the Ballon d'Or to Yamal and give it to Rafinha, in a few years we will look back and say, Rafinha, really? We gave that Ballon d'Or? It's kind of one of those Ballon d'Ors that over time looks bad. It will look bad. Yeah. I think, and Yamal is an extremely talented player. If he gets the Ballon d'Or, he will get another one in the future. I believe it. Yamal will have his Ballon d'Ors in the future. That is out of the question. Salah is in his twilight years. He's 33. Let him have his one, and let him have his moment of glory. And yeah, you know what? I think it's been a very, very interesting Premier League season. Not the most memorable one. It has been interesting. A lot of things have happened, and I guess I'm already looking forward to the next one. Pretty much everything in there is wrapped up. And I will make one more video about the relegated teams as well, because they are shit and I want to explain why. Alright, so I guess I'll see you then. Until then, so long.